Have you ever had a student that just will not turn any work in for you at all? You sit and worry about that student, how you might encourage them more. You wonder if all of your effort with this student might pay off one day, and you can feel that high of why you became a teacher to reach a student like this and help them be successful. I'm Michelle Slobodjan, and my action research paper was on the effect of parental contact on students' grades and attitude. The purpose was to see if weekly contact to a parent on the student's missing work could improve their grades and attitudes. There are 24 students in my freshman English class, and all are considered first-year freshmen. The results of my study by sending a missing work report home on Friday with it being returned on Monday with the missing work showed a slight increase in their attitudes towards the positive and had a significant improvement on some of their grades. As with any teacher, it is a requirement that I show my students have mastered the skills I am teaching. A lot of the time, practice or even sometimes informal assessments are being done through the homework and classwork. My freshman students were just simply not turning them in, and I was seeing a decline in their grades. Freshmen are in their prime years for developing a success for graduation in the future. I knew that I needed to tackle this group immediately to ensure they would be successful in the future. So I chose a one group pre-test and post-test in a way. I took their grades before I implemented the strategy, and then I also assessed their grades after I implemented the strategy to see if there was an increase in them. As well as also I did a survey before the strategy was implemented and again after the strategy was implemented to see if their attitudes had changed at all. Students are required to master many skills in a short period of time. They need to be able to think critically and communicate clearly, all while analyzing data and making complex decisions. As Susan Kruger had pointed out in her article, doing homework helps build responsibility skills in the same way that lifting weights builds muscle. It is important to involve parents in the process to keep the students successful. As stated in the article, School Completion and Student Engagement, it is critical that both parents and educators reach out to the children disengaged from school and consequently unlikely to succeed. Doing this gives the students a better chance at really succeeding and looking forward to a graduation in the future. Students' paths are blocked by many different things, and in my school, the new iPads have caused a lot of disruptions and problems with focusing and paying attention during class. The students are pulled to social media and texting and instant messaging. Homework and classwork are actually taking a back seat. It is important for the teacher, with the help of the parent, to pull the student back in and remind them that this is something that should be a reward, not something in place of their homework. Creating that better attitude can only be achieved with a parent encouraging the student and helping at home. This is essential and why I believed involving the parents weekly was important. I collected data from my freshmen and out of those freshmen, 13 had failing grades. So it was over half of my class. And so they were really at risk for not succeeding. I sent home the missing work assignment reports, so that was some materials I used. They did a pre and post report on the grade. I did a pre and post attitude survey that I talked about before. As this procedure was done in 2 weeks, we did Friday reports. So for 2 Fridays in a row consecutively, I handed them reports with the directions that they were to have a parent sign it and then return it on Monday to me with the missing work. And then I did the surveys before and after the study as well, just to see where their attitudes lie and whether or not they felt like their attitudes have adjusted or not. My data for the work reports, I sent home the missing work reports. They brought back the missing work to me. I added in those grades. And by adding in those grades, you can see from the blue line to the orange line the difference in their grade levels and what went up. The highest student I had that went from an F to a C just by turning in all of his missing work. Other students, their grades increased slightly by turning in their missing work. And as you can see there, there's some highs and some lows, and there's some stagnant things. Some of those might be that the students just didn't have any missing work, and so they stayed at one level, or they didn't do what was asked, so they didn't change at all. The gray line at the bottom actually shows the change in percentage between what was and what happened. The qualitative data that I picked was from the survey that I did, pre-strategy and post-strategy on do I do my homework or do I not do my homework, and also on classwork as well. As you can see on this one with the homework, I do my homework, and they had some of the time, most of the time, very little, or never. Luckily, none of them said never, which made me happy. But as you can see, most of the time was not as high as I would have liked it. Very little was taking up a lot of the time, and I was not happy with that. I wanted to see a difference in that. And as you can see in my post strategy, it did change a lot, and that really made me happy. I started seeing a shift in their idea of turning in homework. Also, here's my classwork one. I do my classwork some of the time, most of the time, very little, or never. And as you can see, pre-strategy, most of the time actually took up a large chunk, but some of the time and very little were kind of dead even. And I wanted to see that most of the time take up a little bit more of that. And it did. As you can see in the post-strategy part, the very little is significantly decreased, and that was exactly what I wanted to see. I had definitely different, very positive outcomes on those results. The students started turning in their work, started seeing them take more of an interest in turning their work in on time, as well as also seeing them turn in that missing work and increasing their grades, which encourages them just to do better and do more. The surveys were definitely eye-opening. I was shocked to see that a lot of them have after-school responsibilities at home, mostly taking care of younger siblings. I come from a very poor school district here, and so understanding that made me change my thought process to less homework and more classwork, and then still sending home that grade work because they weren't turning in the classwork either, to see them still positively turn in that classwork as well. Future plans are just to be consistent with this. Definitely make sure that the parents are seeing their grade reports every week and making sure the students understand that their missing work is going to be shown to their parents one way or another. I think what I would do to change a thing a little bit would be that instead of letting the students take it home and depending upon them turning it back in on Monday, letting the students know that if they don't turn it back in on Monday, that there'll be a phone call home, and that they'd have to explain to their parent that they're missing work and that they were supposed to have something signed by them. I think that would encourage them a little bit more to get that signature over the weekend and get that missing work completed, knowing that no matter what, they're going to kind of have to let their parent know. So that would be my future plans, and definitely just a reinforcement at home, I know, will definitely help the students continued on a positive path all the way to graduation, and that's what's most important. I'm going to share those results and future directions with basically everyone at my school. I've already shared it with my administrator, the freshman administrator, to let her know what's going on and have her see the positive results, because this is a freshman-wide problem right now. I'd also share it with other teachers. I have shared it within the English department. I'd probably share it outside of that English department as well, letting people know the success I've had and seen with this. I think can only help all the other classes and all the other different grade levels see an improvement in their classes as well. I look forward to seeing everybody else's results, and hope you enjoy mine. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.